I feel like the 90-day rule works when you understand what it is for. It is not about the sex. It is about you qualifying someone to receive your body. Remember, your body, I ain't trying to be cliche, but your body is a temple. Your body is important. Your sex ties you to a person. Sex has emotions tied to it, connected to it. Yo, party people, it's Ashley of SingleWomanChronicles.com, where being single is a beautiful choice rather than a miserable circumstance. And how are y'all doing today? Woo, yes, honey. I had an eventful weekend. I went down at the Revol Fest. They had free tickets all weekend, I believe, because a lot of people, of course, the Diddy situation, but Diddy doesn't even own a portion of Revol anymore. I learned that like a year ago. And then the tickets were free. I don't think a lot of people knew it was free. Like, it was so free that I didn't even pay for my parking. Like, to not pay for your parking for a freaking festival is unheard of. So, yeah. Got to see Flo Milli. That is my girl. Love me some Flo Milli-ish. Love her. I saw Coyle Ray. Not really a fan. Her music is cool. I think she's gorgeous. I'm just not like a fan. I really wanted to see Lady London, but she was not on the stage because we got there late. But I did get some good pictures. So listen, the age of social media might miss the performance, but you ain't missing no good pics, no photo ops, okay? So that was cool. Definitely love my outfit. I ordered some pants from Fashion Nova, but they were too small. I had 2 pair that came and they were too small because the size I normally get was too small because they didn't have any stretch. Okay, I'm thick. I need a little stretch. If it don't stretch, I'm probably not gonna be able to get in it. Okay, so yeah. But I ended up hitting Target up, getting the outfit last minute. So it was good. It was a good time. Okay, so yeah. And what do I want to talk about today? So over the weekend, I ended up rewatching how Think Like a Man. And when the book first came out, of course I had the book. Like, who didn't? Like, y'all can hate on Steve Harvey all y'all want, but when that book came out, everybody and their mama had the book. Just like in the movie, it was sold out everywhere because this was the first time we saw a man giving advice at that level. Because now we used to it. We want to snatch out the podcast mics from men who give advice. But this was the first time a guy had like really wrote a book on it, especially a guy at his stature, because back then we did have the Tony Gaskins. We had Derrick Jackson before he was exposed as a cheater and a narcissist. And maybe a few others, but for Steve Harvey to write it and like it to be as big as it was, we was all into it. So I was in my early 20s, I believe. Yes, I was in my early 20s when this book dropped. And I was struggling with men back then. Like, I was struggling with dating. So I needed all the advice I could get. So rewatching it at my big age now, it was very different. And I just wanted to talk about it because I know we're in this super sensitive age where you really can't say anything. You can't say nothing. Like, if I say I like ice cream, somebody gonna jump in no, if I say I like vanilla ice cream, somebody gonna be like, oh, so why you disrespecting chocolate ice cream? I just said I like vanilla. I didn't say nothing about chocolate. I just said I like vanilla. So it's like, you can't have an opinion that does not insult somebody else. So I feel like with the book entitled Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, we're in this era of extremism. And an era of extremism, it's like we doing so much overcorrecting that we're missing the goal here, okay? I've already done an episode on like decentering men and how to do it in a way where you don't miss the mark. Because I believe the reason you should decenter men isn't to delete men. Decenter, delete, those are 2 different things, okay? Decenter means take them out of the center of your universe. They should not be your everything. Pursuing a relationship should not be your everything. It can be a priority because we all need belonging. We all need companionship. That is in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So don't say you don't need nobody. Those people who be saying, I don't need nobody for this, blah, blah, blah. That's a defense mechanism. We ain't getting into that. Anyway, decenter means take them out the center. It don't mean take them out the whole picture, delete, okay? So when you got a book entitled Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, of course, all of the women who feel like, oh, what you mean act like a lady? Why I can't just act like myself? Why I gotta think like a man? I don't want it. Y'all know what I mean. Okay. So, of course, like after a while, his book started to get insults just of a lot of people saying he shouldn't be talking about it because he been divorced and he's this and he that and blah, blah, blah. But I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Even when I first read the book, I gleaned a lot of good knowledge from it. It was insightful. It was things that I needed. I did not reread the book, but rewatching a movie, I remember some of the stuff the book was talking about. And I just wanted to talk about it today because sometimes I feel like when you re-watch something and you're older, you're more mature, you will see it from a different perspective. So I just wanted to touch on a few things that I picked up on. And I was like, you know what? I'm digging this. Okay. So the first thing I want to discuss is in the book, he talks about a man is going to see you as a sports fish or a trophy. No, a sports fish or a keeper. That's what it was. So a sports fish is the girl who is the trophy. He has her around. He's really not seeing a future with her. He's not thinking long term at all. He just got her around for the moment and, you know, he's going to throw her back out. That's why it's called a sports fish. But a keeper is the woman that he wants to keep. He sees a future with her, et cetera, et cetera. So he talks in the book about how men are going to view you one of those two ways. Now, as a woman who dealt with men for a long time, men do categorize women immediately. And the difference between men and women is once a man puts you in a category, it is almost impossible to get out of that category because they just, I don't know what it is, but one thing about men is they have standards, baby, and they stand on them. Like if it's low standards, they standing there. If it's high, they standing there. Like when they say something, they make their mind up about a woman, they don't make their mind up. I wish women, we were more like that. But I feel like because we are nurturers and we are more graceful, we're just more forgiving in that sense. But I agree. But there's a part of this where I disagree with. So I think we have this belief, especially in the podcast sphere, where people make it seem like it's your fault if a guy puts you in the sports fish category or the keeper category. It's something you did. Sometimes it could be something that he sees in you that he doesn't like. And that's cool. Not everybody got good taste. That's okay. Like, not everyone's going to like you. You don't like everybody. Not everyone's going to like you. That is okay. But I do believe we miss the part where some people are just not ready. Like, there are some people who do not want to be with nobody. Like the person, you could be the best thing that ever happened to them, but they're just in a space where they don't want to be tied down. I think about people like 50 Cent, who was dating Cuban Link for, bless you, Bridges, that's my dog, who was dating Cuban Link for years. Cuban Link is gorgeous. She's fit. She's smart. She got business about herself, but she said he wasn't ready to settle down. That man's 50. Okay. She's 20 something, I think, but he wasn't ready to settle down. So that had nothing to do with Cuban Link and her characteristics. It was him. He wasn't ready to settle down. Right. So I think as women, we must understand sometimes he's just not ready. And when he tell you he's not ready, believe him. Even if he alludes to not being ready in his actions, believe him, okay? I'm going to tell you something. The best way to know that a guy is really about that life, Bridges, please. The best way to know if he's really about that life, really ready for something, really ready to settle down, his words are going to match his actions. Now, I've said this a long time ago, but I want to repeat it because I want to free somebody today. Women, they say, it's a saying, if a woman likes you enough, you don't have to lie to her because she'll lie to herself. That's the truth. Because we will lie to ourselves and convince ourselves and talk ourselves into dating someone after their red flags. We'll see the red flags. We act like Stevie Wonder to the red flags, whatever, right? So oftentimes as women, we believe what we want to see in that man. I'm going to give you an example. If a man tells you, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but he brings you around all his friends, he introduces you to his family, he spends all his time with you, he takes you on date, he does all these relationship things. Guess what you're going to start thinking? That he wants to be in a relationship. But he's just confused. Maybe you can convince him because he's doing all these actions. It doesn't make sense to you why he would do all this, even though he's saying he doesn't want to be in a relationship. So maybe if I wait, this is you thinking, maybe if I wait it out, then I could change his mind. It is a lie from the pits of hell, okay? See, I know it's from the pits of hell because Bridges won't let me speak on it because I'm trying to free somebody today. Let me tell you something. Listen to that man, okay? I know a lot of y'all be like, well, his actions gonna speak loud. No, his actions need to align with his words. If there is a guy who is saying he wants to be with you, but his actions are saying he doesn't, many times women, we will start to listen to his words, even though his actions are saying opposite. Just like in the other scenario, if his words are telling you, I don't want to be in a relationship, but his actions are saying I do, you're listening to, well, his actions say he do, so I'm going to believe he do. If his actions say he don't, but his words say he do, you're going to believe what he say. Stop. The only time you need to believe it is when they line up. When his actions say I want to be in a relationship and his words say I want to be in a relationship, that's when you know this man wants to be in a relationship. Okay? All right? Can I dismiss the class? All right, cool. So I just want to clear that up, right? Because I know I've suffered from that in the past. I've had moments where I was dating somebody and they told me they didn't want to be in a relationship, but they were spending all this time with me and XYZ. And I remember calling them out because I think they didn't call me back or something. It was weird. And I was like, why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And of course he throws back in my face, girl, we ain't together. You ain't my girl. Oh, okay. But you spending all your time with me. You bring me around your family. You introduce me to your mama, blah, blah, blah. And I tell y'all this all the time. I got a brother. My brother bring different women around me and my mama so much. You ain't special just because you met his mama. Like, and now sometimes it's always an exception to the rule, but a lot of these men just be bringing people around. They don't care. I literally, this year, I was talking to this guy and we were supposed to spend a whole day together just out and about, but he was visiting town and he didn't often get to see his family because he lives out west. This man ended up, because I'm thinking we hopping, like going from brunch to like another brunch to like a day party. No, we went to brunch and then he looks at me. He's like, my mom is having a get together with my family. Can you come? Like, do you want to come with me? And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I understand how this thing works. I didn't think I was special because he brought me around his family. Absolutely not. I just thought it was another Saturday. Like, it's not that serious. It's just not. I'm not saying it's not special because some people do hold that near and dear to their heart. Me, I hold that near and dear to my heart. A lot of women, we do. But a lot of these men, they don't see it like that. They're just like, I just brought you around my family. That don't mean we get married, girl. That don't mean I want to be with you. Like, no. So, that, unless he say it with his words, Okay. The second thing, the 90-day rule. Y'all, when that 90-day rule hit these streets, baby, I was like, I need to be a part of the 90-day rule because I don't know how to control this little cooter cat, okay? I done told y'all before my celibacy journey, I was addicted to sex. So I just would do it and just be sad afterwards. So when this thing came out, I jumped on it. Okay, I jumped on it. But let me tell you what I learned. 35 years old. I hope somebody younger listening to this, because if you got a niece, you got a little sister, you got a daughter who is in college or in high school, send them this episode because they need to hear it. Okay, 90-day rule. I did not understand the 90-day rule fully. I thought the 90-day rule was literal. Let me break this down. I thought literally you need to wait 90 days before you have sex with someone. And on that 90th day, give them that cooter cat because they waited. When in reality, the 90-day rule ain't about the 90 days. The 90-day rule is about evaluating someone's performance to see if they have earned that from you. Because the example he uses is when you get on a job, you have a 90-day period before you can get your benefits. After them 90 days, your boss is going to say, yes, stay on, get these benefits. No, you can't get these benefits because your 90 days sucked. I wasn't thinking about the 90 days sucking because all I was worried about was getting past 90 days. I was so hyper focused on the sex part, the no sex part. I wasn't evaluating this nigga. I wasn't evaluating this man's performance. So the root of the 90 days is not about waiting 90 days for sex. It's about getting to the point where you feel like someone's performance is pristine enough to receive your body. Okay? I love this example that I have created. I don't understand how many times we will give our bodies to a man who we wouldn't even let borrow our car. I'm sorry, but my body is more valuable than my car. But you ain't driving my car and you ain't driving my coochie either. Okay, sir? All right. Okay. So until, like for me, my journey's different. Y'all know I've been celibate for years. I'm talking years, okay? 7 years, okay? And my journey started, of course, because of God. And I was heavy, headstrong, like, yes, we're waiting to marriage. Right now, we gonna see. I'm 35. We gonna see. But I understand the ramifications for sex for me. It's literally life changing for me because I haven't been doing it for so long. So the value of sex for me is very high. So I would not give that over to anybody, right? And I don't think everyone should be like celibate. I mean, of course, God thinks so. But I know for me, the reason I did it was I had an unhealthy relationship with sex. So I could not just do it and feel it took my worth in a lot of cases. Like I felt worthless after sex. So that's why I stopped. And now self-esteem is on high. I know I can have sex and it be okay. But I know for me, I'm choosing not to just do it with any old body. Like I'm just not a casual dating girly. I haven't realized that about myself. I'm a wife. I'm probably like legit being a girlfriend is a struggle for me because I want to put my all in. That chick Angel talked about how when she met her husband, she told him, I'm a great wife, but I wouldn't be a good girlfriend. And what she meant was because of how she loves and how she invests, she can only put her all in. And she's not doing that as a girlfriend. So unless you're trying to marry her, she ain't trying to do it, right? So I feel like the 90-day rule works when you understand what it is for. It is not about the sex. It is about you qualifying someone to receive your body. Remember, your body, I ain't trying to be cliche, but your body is a temple. Your body is important. Your sex ties you to a person. Sex has emotions tied to it, connected to it. And honestly, and if we just being practical, it ain't no better feeling than when a dude is exited out of your life. Either you kick him out or he leaves. And you can sit and smile in your bed and turn over and say, At least he ain't getting no coochie though. I love it. I love to be able to say it. I mean, it brings me joy. All right. The fourth thing, the hit list. So a hit list is, remember he was like, what are your 90-day, what are your long-term goals? What are your short-term goals? What do you see in your future? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to lie. In my 20s, I did not understand what the hit list was for. I thought it was stupid. I wasn't finna do all that. I'm not finna ask you that because it just sounds like I'm interviewing you. But after being 35, honey, I understand it completely now. And here's why I understand it. When you ask someone what their long-term goals are, you get a feel of how you fit into their life long-term. So if you ask someone, what are your, in the next 5 years, where do you see your life? If he's like, my career, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to buy a house and then I'm trying to travel the world, but he don't mention nothing about family and marriage, but in your long-term goals, that's what you see, y'all might not be aligned, right? So that's why that hit list is important. Also, what I'm learning is to ask certain questions. Let me be honest. Y'all know my relationship lasted 3 business days. And I asked him a question and he answered the question honestly. And I didn't take it serious enough, but I knew I should have. I asked him, what's more priority to you, work or family? He said work. That's a problem for me. It's not a problem for everybody, but it's a problem for me. And when he literally told me how he was going to show up in our relationship. And guess what? That's how he showed up in our relationship. I was the last priority on his list. On 1 to 10, I was probably 10. Right? So you ask these certain questions because you want to understand where a person's head is at and how they operate in relationships, because you don't want to end up wasting your time. It's that simple. Okay? Lastly, how he professes. Like, so there was a scene where Megan Good was out with the player and he was like, oh, this is Maya, my girlfriend. And I can say that in most cases, let's be clear. I'm not talking about when you being love bombed. Now, if a man is love bombing you, he gonna ask you to be his girlfriend on day 2. That's OD. Okay? That is OD. Okay? That's OD. Now, I always say it's exceptions to the rules, but in most cases, if someone is love bombing you, and ladies, you know when you being love bombed because you feel uncomfortable. You're not even comfortable with the level y'all moving. You know y'all ain't got that much in common. You know the vibe ain't vibing. You know it ain't a flow you comfortable with. You feel anxiety attached to that. Now, if he love bombing you, he gonna profess hour 2. But if it's a real dude that's like sane and he has good intentions, if he professes his love for you, or not love, but if he professes like, oh, this is my lady, oh, this is my girl, oh, this is this, that, and the other. If someone acts like y'all together and he's like, yeah, we together, then yes, you can read where he's trying to take you, even if y'all haven't discussed it. Now, me, I like a girlfriend proposal. Like, you got to tell me what we doing, because I'm a little slow. I'm really not slow. I'm not fast. I don't want nobody to break that up and be like, see, she said she fast. I'm really not slow. I just believe in clarity, and I'm a very direct communicator, so I need that direct communication. So, yeah. But after watching Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, I feel like some of us need to reread the book. If you ain't gonna read the book, watch the movie. If you don't want to watch the movie or read the book, listen to it on Audible. I think we need some refreshers because, again, hearing it at my age now versus hearing it at my age then, the lights that went off were just incredible. Okay. All right. So another thing I just wanted to touch on, right? So I was talking to my best friend about it. We talk every day, all day, y'all. So that's just us. So I was telling her, I've been getting invited to places. I haven't been on a date since I broke up with Buddy, but I've been getting invited out. And so I'm in this season where I know I want to be married. I know I want my husband, right? And I'm so used to going through seasons where God is like, you can't date nobody. And I'm so used to that, right? Or the season of, okay, God is like, you can date, but then I be so hyper focused on seeing if this person is the person I'm going to marry that dating for me has caused me a lot of anxiousness over the past decade. Like, I'm not even going to flex, over the past decade. Even being healed, even being high in confidence, high in self-worth, high in wisdom, high in emotional intelligence, it has caused me a lot of anxiety. And I've always wanted to be in that middle ground where I I am dating, but I'm not hyper focused on the results. Like, that's the part I've always wanted to be in, right? And I get in those moments often, but I think now it's a little different because I know that I can't accept nothing less than my husband, right? But that doesn't disqualify me from just hanging out and having fun and living my life. So I'm learning that I can still hang out with somebody and it just be me hanging out with somebody. It doesn't have to be defined as, oh, you hanging out with him, so you need to explore if this is going to go somewhere. No, sometimes it could just be a hangout. And so I was really having that conversation with God last night because I'm like, God, am I supposed to be sitting still on my hands and waiting for my man to come? Or am I supposed to be out having fun, enjoying my life, doing what I got to do, but still kind of like understanding that I know I want this marriage, it's going to come, but I'm still, out here. And God clearly responded. He said, as long as you are in my parameters, you are good. So basically, as long as you are obeying me, baby, do your thing. And that freed me because for such a long period of time, I was in a space where I wasn't dating because I was unhealed and I didn't, and I had anxious attachment and I dealt with an unhealthy sex life and I dealt with making marriage an idol. Like, I had to overcome all of these things, right? And then when I started dating, I thought like, okay, I'm healed. God's going to send my man tomorrow. So I was looking over my shoulder like a little squirrel, just constantly looking and anxious and thinking like, oh, maybe it's him. Oh, maybe it's him. Oh, maybe it's him. So it's like I wasn't able to just enjoy life. And so now I'm like, I can just enjoy life. I can say yes to dates. I can say yes to experiences. It doesn't have to be that serious. As long as I stay in the parameters of what God has set for me. And for me right now, that's my celibacy. That's knowing that, okay, if this is somebody who may possibly want to be with me or I want to be with, we have to sit down and have real conversations. Like, what do you see as, what are your values? Are you a follower of Christ, a lover of Jesus? What do you see as family? Like, what are your priorities? Do you value or do you prioritize work over family? Like, those conversations have to be had. And I'm not even gonna lie, I did go through a small moment, just a small moment where I was just like, it does get exhausting dating within God's parameters. I'm not going to lie, especially someone like me who is on a journey of celibacy. But I had to realize that the parameters and the standards that God has set for me are for me and not for him. They are for my protection. Because when I go outside of those standards, all I get is disappointment. All I get is wasted time. All I get, so it's like, you know what? I did that already. Let me just stay in his parameters because it's just easier over here. And I just enjoy having the peace of God. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to say, I wrote it down because I just want to speak to somebody who you've been waiting for a long time to meet somebody and you got standards. And sometimes you feel like your standards it's not fair because the people who don't have standards and who just out here living however, it seems like they get further than you. And you just are struggling right now to decide, like, should I keep on with my standards or should I not? One, like I said, the standards are to protect you, because think about the times you stepped outside of them. How successful were you? Exactly. Two, I think one of the biggest things we don't talk about when it comes to standards is, just because you have a standard, that doesn't automatically mean it makes your life easier. It does make you more successful at avoiding what you don't want, but it doesn't automatically lead you to what you do want. Because just because you have a standard, that does not mean everyone's going to accept that standard. Just because I say, hey, yeah, I'm not finna have sex with you right off bat. I'm not finna do that. Like, I'm saving myself. A guy can say yes or no to that. Like, he has a choice to say no. And I have to be okay with that, because I have to understand the reason that I set my standards. So stay close to your why. Do not give up just because you looking left and right and you comparing your love life to other people's, because what glitter ain't always gold. And again, continue to remember what happened last time. What happened last time you stepped outside your standard? Was it any better? Exactly. All right, y'all. Until next time. Bye.